What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video I am actually re-recording my must-haves and must-gags video. So this is a series that I created inspired by Samantha March's Will I Buy It, Angelica Nyquist's new releases series, all of those like series type that go on YouTube. And I just wanted to do my own spin on it. I am only going to be talking about indie brands, and I will link up above my other my other video for this. I think I'm gonna be doing this every 2 weeks. Honestly, it's all about my work schedule, the time that I have. I feel like I'm kind of close in. Let's go with that. So it's all gonna deal with my work schedule and all the time that I have to actually give to this. But yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about some releases. Some are new, some are old, but they have not been talked about on my channel. So I just kind of wanted to come on here and talk about these releases. I am gonna attempt to stay in this corner so that I have plenty of room to put photos. And yeah, let's just get started. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Kokie Artisan palettes. Now they have 3 different palettes. There's one that's like a blue green type palette. I was really into that at one point. But one, it's $13, so that's a little bit expensive for me when it comes to drugstore. And then on top of that, Kokie is not very accessible to me. So it just kind of mounted up and up and up. If I happen to see that particular palette or that series of palettes in a drugstore when I happen to be there, you know, I might scoop it up, but I am not going to purchase it online. Like I've told you guys before, I am doing this series to slow down my purchasing, and that is one of those things I am not purchasing online. Next, I wanted to talk about the Makeup Maniacs palette. It is called the Sweet Tooth palette. This is a really pretty palette. It has pastel mattes, pastel shimmers. It also has a couple of shades, well, one shade, one brown to deepen out your outer V. I really think this is a pretty palette, but I already have a palette with the same color scheme. It is actually my Beauty Wide Seasons palette. I love that palette. I've gotten a lot of wear out of that palette when I do want a more pastel look. And yeah, I cannot be bothered to right now to purchase another palette that I already have the exact same color scheme in the same palette. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind if like it's colors that I already have, but like not in one palette. But if I already have the same colors in one palette, I don't need it. I really don't. I do want to say that this has been on my face for a while. I did do a couple of videos earlier today. I even recorded this earlier today, but the audio was terrible, absolutely terrible. So I'm re-recording it in hopes that it comes out well. If it doesn't, I won't post it and you guys will never see this, but hopefully it comes out well. Let me just get back onto it. Winky Lux had a palette released a while ago. I think it actually was in a BoxyCharm at one point, and it was the Fruit Fix palette. It's a really pretty palette. It's a 5-pan. You know, you have your, for typical people, it's under eye eyebrow, what is it, shimmer, under eyebrow shimmer thing, whatever. You have a crease shade, you have some lid shades, and you have deepening up shades. It's a really pretty palette, but it's not one that I like have to have everything, you know what I mean? So I am good on that palette. Next is the Aliyah and Mac collection. Now I know a couple of Aliyah songs, you know, I'm into her, she's cool or whatever, but I'm not a die-hard Aliyah fan. So I did not go ahead and purchase in the first go around with Mac. What I am doing is I am crossing my fingers and hoping that Ulta is going to have a sale soon, and then I will purchase it off of their website. I also had a couple other things that I wanted to purchase anyways. I want the nude lipstick and the black lip liner. I think those would be really cool to add in my collection. I don't have very many brown nude lipsticks, and I don't have any black lip liners. Next, I wanted to talk about the Black Moon Cosmetics Black Metal Volume 1. So this, I'm assuming, is their shimmer palette to their all matte palette, and for their brand, I think it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense for them to come out with an all shimmer palette. But for me and my collection, it does not make sense for me to purchase it. I have a few all shimmer palettes and I do not reach for those very often. Honestly, if it's all shimmer or all matte, I really don't reach for either of those very often. I like to have a combination already in that palette. So for me, it's just not one that I would like, I'm dying to get right now, especially because we haven't seen anything. Now let me say, my opinion might change if I see the inside of it and I might really need it, but for right now, I'm gonna save that point. Next is a sneak peek from Laura Lee Cosmetics, and it's just two swatches on her arm of a really light orange and a really beautiful yellow. I'm assuming they both look matte, so they're both matte. So I don't want to get into this very long, but long story short, I've been doing personal soul searching when it comes to big influencers that I stopped following. So I stopped following 3 huge influencers personally. It was Tati, Kathleen Lights, and Laura Lee. 2 of them, Tati and Laura Lee, were because they were in the clique with Jeffree Star, and as we all know, I do not support him for all of his racist comments, all that stuff. Patriarchal comments, all that jazz. So I stopped watching them. I had since decided that, you know what, just because they're friends with them doesn't mean they have those same ethos, because I know I have some friends that people do not like, but they're still friends with me because of me. You know what I mean? So I wanted to figure out if I wanted to be a supporter of the person, not who they affiliate themselves with. You know what I mean? So personally, I can't get down with Laura Lee and her content on her channel anymore. It's just not for me at all, which is perfectly fine. I have since resubscribed to Tati, so that is an update. But to what we're supposed to really be talking about, the Laura Lee Cosmetics new palette, I believe this is her summer palette. It's interesting, you know, I'm not gonna say it's ugly. I'm interested. We'll see. I have heard decent things about her formula, but none of the palettes have really spoken to me. So if it's a color scheme that is different and would be unique to my collection, then of course, I don't mind purchasing it for me. But to purchase it to review for you guys, no offense, I don't have the money like that. I cannot do that anymore. So yeah. Next is a kind of oldie but goodie. It is the Love Luxe pastel mixers. I want some of these so bad, so bad. I want to use them for my lip art, and I am starting to get a little bit more into it. I actually just bought a couple of small brushes to help do some more fine detail work in my lip art, because that has been a struggle. But yeah, I am interested in getting those, a couple of them, not all of them. Oh, and I do want to update you guys. I did purchase the Zuri Cosmetics palette. I chalked it up and purchased that one, so when it comes in, I will let you guys know. Next, I want to talk about the Blot Beauty Cosmetics. Yeah, about them. So I thought originally that they have like palettes, but it looks like they have their own personal Z palettes, and then you can add in shades that you want. I'm interested in trying it for me. They have a lot of blues, a lot of greens. We all know I really like those, but I've already used that excuse, you know what I mean? Like, I will say they have darker blues and greens that I have purchased. So I might pull the trigger on that, but not right now. I honestly just, I don't have the funds as of right now. Next, Soph Does Nails did yet another collab with Makeup Revolution. This is now her 2nd collab with them, and this is their, I guess, 4th collab overall, to my knowledge, because they've done 2 with Soph Does Nails. They've done 1 with Tammy, Makeup by Tammy, and then they've done 1 with Carmi. I think that's just his name, Carmi. So looking at this palette, between the Soph Does Nail original palette and Tammy's palette, I don't need this. The only 2 colors that I don't believe I have in the 2 palettes that I've just mentioned is the really bright silver and then the pinky orange red type situation. So those are the only 2 colors, and it's not like I don't have those at all in my collection. So I'm good on that. The only thing I might get from this collection is one of the lipsticks. I am interested. I've been interested in trying the Makeup Revolution lipstick formula, so it would be a win-win. But I'm not purchasing it from their website. Every time I purchase from their website, I buy an obscene amount of things. I'm waiting for it to go to Ulta, and then I will purchase it. If it doesn't go to Ulta, oh well. So that is that. Next, this is the old one, but I didn't hear very many people talking about it. It was the NYX Cosmetics Machinist Grind Collection. So they showed sneak peeks of about 6 different palettes. It looks kind of like what they did with the Elements palette. That was like that $30 palette. And I'm interested. I'm interested in the one that we have seen thus far. I don't know which one it is, but it has some purples, some pinks, some greens, some golds. It's interesting. I'm digging it. But we will see, because if they try and pull that $30 price tag again, I will skip it like I skipped it before. Next is the Makeup Slavy palette. It is yet another indie brand, as it should be going into this video, but it has 2 yellows, a couple oranges, some pinks, a blue, some purples, and some like dusty roses colors. It's a really pretty color scheme. I am interested in this palette. I would like to purchase it, to be honest, but we'll see. We'll see. It might be that one palette that I purchased just to give me something new in my collection, but like I said, I'm slowing down, so, but I would like to purchase that palette. Next is the Raine Beldy brand. They actually just went into Target, and I have been eyeing this one palette from them for about a couple months now, a couple of months. It's 1 yellow, 1 orange, 1 green, and 1 purple. It screams me. So I am interested in that, but I would only pick it up if I find it at Target. I am not purchasing it online. No ma'am. I am not falling for the get free shipping minimum. Not again. No. The next brand I want to talk about is kind of sad, but I'm going to talk about it. It's the Bella Donna's Cupboard. I believe that's how you say the brand. Y'all know I butcher things. But this brand has really interesting color schemes in their palettes. This one that I'm talking about personally that I'm interested in, it is a rainbow palette, but it also is UV in as well. So I thought that was really interesting. My problem with this palette isn't even the palette, it's the brand. The brand, like when I went to like look more into them, they talk everything about satanic this, satanic that, and I'm not judging. I'm not here to judge people. I really am not. For those who are into that sort of thing, you know, I'm glad that they have a brand that they can go to, but that is not me. I have religious beliefs that are not aligned with that, and so I can't support a brand that, yeah. So it sucks, but such as life. Save me a little bit of coin. Next is the Nomad Cosmetics palette. I can't remember if I've actually talked about this. If I have, I will cut this out. But this palette is beautiful. It has yellows, blues, pinks, purples. It screams me. It only has 1 neutral. There's that 1 brown in the corner, and hopefully it's a shimmer and it's like more bronzy than an actual brown. But it is a really pretty palette. I am interested in buying this palette. I will be buying this when I have the money and, you know, the mind space to actually purchase another palette, because I have purchased a lot. But yeah, I am interested in purchasing this palette, and yeah, I'm in it. I'm in it for the win it. Next is the Hazina 2 palette from Blush Tribe. Now, this is a brand that I have already reviewed on my blog, not on here. I have one of their older palettes. It's kind of a Morphe-esque palette shape. And yeah, I liked it. I thought the pigmentation was there. It kind of does look private labeled, but since that palette, they have not done any other palettes in that sort of packaging. So I think if they were private labeled, I don't know if they were, but if they were, I would assume they are no longer. So anyways, This is a color scheme palette that is perfect for me. It has purples, it has blues, it has greens. It's screaming my name. I already have 2 other palettes that I want. I also want the Blossom palette and the Hasina 2 or the Hasina 1. So I will be scooping up all 3 hopefully when the Hasina 2 comes, is released on their website. Next we have the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill collab part 3. So they've already done one where she did a favorites, so she just picked a bunch of favorite shadows that she had and put that in a palette. Then last year she did her official first collab where she created all the shades, all the formula, all that jazz, and now she's coming out with her 3rd collab, which is 4 separate palettes with 4 separate color schemes. I think that's smart, to be quite honest. It is smart. I think certain color schemes aren't, she could have pushed them a little bit further, I'm not gonna lie, but I was interested in purchasing about almost 3 of these palettes, to be honest. I was interested in purchasing about 3 palettes for myself, but between the swatches, which I know swatches don't tell the truth, but you know, between the swatches and now the whole, since we've seen the reviews on the vault, we're going to not release the palette weeks. No, I know they're not gonna reformulate these palettes. So what are they gonna do? Pretend to reformulate and then be like next week, hey, it's bigger and better now. Here you go. Like, so I'm just gonna sit back and not purchase those palettes. It's perfectly fine. I think the one that I was really wanting was the Dark Magic palette. It had some really dark colors that I was stupid into, but I'm good. And then the last thing I want to talk about, yes, under 20 minutes. So the last thing I want to talk about is a new palette from J.Cat Beauty. It's only $8, and it is the new Extreme Access Packet. The new Extreme Access Pocket Shadows. They're $8, like I said. They have 2 more neutral ones, and then they have 1 colorful one. It's really pretty, and I really want to have a colorful drugstore palette, not for honestly YouTube purposes, more for traveling purposes. I don't want to travel with my more expensive palettes. I would prefer to travel with drugstore palettes, so I'm hoping that I could get that, and that would be a really good addition to my traveling collection. So yeah, those are all the things that I wanted to talk about. Definitely comment down below anything that you were interested in purchasing or not purchasing. Try and convince me if you want. Try and talk me out of it. I am fair game for it all. And as always, y'all, it has been real. Peace.